Hello there, I'm Calvin Wayman, and I am your Millionaire case study. Today is Thursday, January 28th, 2016. So what I'm going to do on this episode, similar to what I'm going to do on a few other episodes, is just kind of give what I've been doing over the last week. Because I did an episode, I filmed the first ever episodes last Thursday, and that's what I want to do, is kind of hold myself accountable. And again, the whole point of these is it's going to be a way for you to get into the life of an entrepreneur on the path to making their first $1 million. And it's not going to be the snapshot. It's going to be the actual day-to-day, week-to-week stuff. And so for some of you, it might be boring. And that's okay. This isn't for you. Who this is for this is for the entrepreneur that, probably an entrepreneur like me, this is a passion project. Somebody that is trying to figure it out, and they're wondering what somebody on their level did or would do in their situation. So I'll just jump right in with some of the things that I've been up to over the last week. So I've been trying to put together a social media management company. When people ask me what I do, I tell them that I'm a social media manager. And what I've been doing that I think is kind of key is, instead of they're saying, what are you doing? I don't tell them that I'm creating it. I talk as though I am it, like I've been doing it. Like, hey, what are you up to? I'm like, oh, I'm a social media manager. I just got a phone call. I'm going to turn that off. Anyway, so I tell them like I already am it. I'm a social media manager. I help people get noticed on social media. Everybody needs to be on social media, but everybody knows that they need to be on social media, but they just can't take the time to be on social media. So what I do is I manage their social media accounts for them. The main ones are Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And I've had a few people that have been interested in this, and I think I've had a total of 3 since last week. 3 people that I've had strategy calls with, 30-minute strategy calls outlining what it is that I will provide for them. None of them had said a clear yes or a clear no at this point. I have calls rescheduled for all 3 of them. One of them is tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. And since last Thursday, I've also wrote my agreement. I found some people that I know, some friends that are coaches. I asked them if they would send me their contracts, and I got like 4 or 5 different contracts. And I took pieces that I liked from all of them and put one together to make it mine. And I also came up with the kind of a guideline of how I can explain to people what I do when they're wondering, like, what's your deliverables? What are you going to give me with your social media management services? I came up with what I call the 4 C's of social media success. Those 4 C's are content. You got to have good content every day. You got to have context, meaning the right language spoken for that particular platform in the right context. What works on Twitter doesn't always work on Instagram. What works on Instagram doesn't always work on Facebook, and vice versa. The 3rd C is consistency. Posting consistently every day. Right now I'm going to be posting 5 times per platform per day, 5 days a week for my clients, so about 75 posts per week. And with the content, by the way, I'll be the one that's creating that content for them. And then the last C that I came up with is connection. Connecting with the audience. I'm going to connect with their people for them so that no comment gets missed, so that the relationship can be built and then hopefully driven to like an email list or maybe a phone call with the client so that they can get more customers through their social media. So that's something I've been working on. Oh, this week I also wrote down my goals for the year 2016. So I thought it'd be a good idea to share my goals, just kind of so that you know where my head's at. And so here they are. So the first goal, and here's something I'm trying out that's new. I usually have just put my goals and posted it. Like I'd say I want to be an author, or that's my goal, is to be an author. And I've seen this in a few different places, and that is I'm writing my goals in the present tense, almost like as though I'm already it, and how I'm going to feel when I am that. So for the goal of being an author, I wrote, I'm excited to be officially recognized as an author. So that's my first goal. Second thing, it was so amazing to face any fear I have had and skydive. That's goal number 2. I'm actually skydiving this Sunday. It's going to be my first time skydiving. I'm pumped. It's already scheduled. Third goal, I am free and feel so blessed to be 100% in my own businesses. Right now I'm not in my own businesses just yet. I am still doing solar. Yes, I'm my own boss, doing solar door to door. I do it when I want to do it, but it's still working for somebody else in a sense. I'm under a dealer, and my goal is to this year be 100% in my own businesses. Fourth goal, I am humbled and honored to be published in 12 different blogs and magazines. Right now I have been published in one, entrepreneur.com, and I want to average like one a month for the year. That would be super key and awesome. 1, 2, 3. Fifth thing, I feel powerful, humbled, and confident for running 50 miles in an ultramarathon. Now, something you have to know is I'm not really a runner. I've had a dream to run a marathon, and I've just decided this year I want to really push myself. I think I even got the crazy idea from the book. I was reading The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, and he mentioned how he did this. But by the way, that's one of the things I'm working on too, is getting up when I want to get up. I want to always consistently get up at 5 o'clock or in the 5 o'clock hour. I actually got up at 4:30 today for the first time in a long time. But in this book, he talked about how he started running, and he hated it, and I totally relate to that because I don't love running. The farthest I've run is 15 miles so far, and that's crazy. And so I've always had a dream of running a marathon, but Hal Elrod went from not running to running an ultramarathon, skipping a marathon. And that inspired me. And I went like, you know what? A lot of people go forever trying to figure out how to run a marathon, and I'm just going to frickin' go after 50 miles and see what I can do. I met a guy in San Francisco while I was at Periscope Summit, and this guy is actually used to live in Utah. He also was at the Thrive event in Vegas that I was at. That's how I recognized him. He has run ultramarathons. In fact, he's run crazy races. He's completed 300-mile races, which is just insane. And so he gave me some more confidence that I told him what I was thinking about running an ultramarathon, and he gave me more confidence that I can totally pull it off. He might even come to Utah where I want to do it, in Park City, and pace me and support me. So that's going to be super awesome. So that's a big goal of mine, is to run 50 miles this year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's number 6. I wrote, it is so cool that I get to be a papa again with baby number 2. So right now Archie's 2 years old. Becca's not pregnant yet that we know of, but that's our goal, is we want to get started with baby number 2 this year. And I'm hoping for a boy. Alright, my other goal. I am happy to have me and my family established in Arizona. So here's something I decided to do. I'm going to move this year to a smaller town in Arizona. And kind of the reasoning behind that is, number one, I've never lived here, but my wife has family that's around there. The reason I want to do this is I've always had a goal to have a business that I can run from my laptop and my cell phone. That's it. There's this guy named Dale Partridge, and he has his non-negotiables that he had when he created his business, and I resonate with his core values as well. One of them is doing what he loves, having freedom, having a business with huge income potential, and also being able to work independent of location. And so that's my whole idea, is I want to work independent of where I live. It doesn't matter. And so this is kind of a scary thing. There's a lot of uncertainty with it, but I kind of figure it's probably one of those burn the boats type situations where I'm going to move there and force myself to either sink or swim, essentially. I hope that I swim, but I figure if I'm living in a small town with very few connections, I'm gonna have to figure it out. I'll have to. I'll have to figure out how to run a business, create a business, run a business, and survive with me and my family with just the things that we have, like my cell phone, my laptop, and stuff like that. And I don't want to cave and get an employee job. That's the only thing that's really in the areas you could be an employee. I do not want to cave. And so that's my whole focus, is to figure it out, how to have my own business running in a small town. Because if I can do it there, then I can go anywhere. I could go live in a different country for a month or 3 months if I wanted to. If I wanted to learn Spanish, I could go to a Spanish-speaking country and live there and be immersed in it and still run my business. So that's just that's why it's one of my goals. I'm gonna move there. Another goal. I've been so excited, humbled, and blessed to serve thousands of people through my paid keynote speeches. This year I want to get hugely into speaking. I've been doing speaking more with Toastmasters. As a matter of fact, I've done 2 Toastmasters speeches this week. I did one on Monday, and on the Monday night one, it's like a secondary club that I'm going as a guest. They meet twice a month, and I went there and gave a speech, and it was essentially the same speech that I gave like a week or 2 ago. I can't remember when I gave it, at my primary Toastmasters. And then I gave another speech today, just this morning, and I think that went really well. Something I did to kind of force myself into growing a little bit is I didn't start practicing for my speech until 2 days ago. And I did a speech. My speech was on Steve Harvey's inspirational speech that he gives, you can find on YouTube, called Jump. And so I just essentially modeled that speech, copied it almost word for word, memorized it, and delivered it. And I think it went really well. I went up against somebody that's a seasoned Toastmaster. I love this guy. He's also my mentor at Toastmasters. He's been doing it for 7 years, but I got the ribbon today for Best Speaker, so super humbled. I think it went well. So I'm doing this to help make myself a better speaker. I also talked to a guy today. On the phone who was wondering how to get on Entrepreneur Magazine, and he's a millionaire. He has a show that teaches people how to become millionaires. And he called me to see how to get an entrepreneur, but I heard that he told me that he's going to be a TEDx speaker. And he's totally excited for that. And that's something I would love to do as well, to speak on TEDx, because that would just boost my brand and it build instant credibility for speaking and being more of a keynote speaker. So that's another thing that I'd love to do this year. That'd be super cool. I can't tell you how great it feels that I am financially independent with no consumer debt, and I have my own place completely paid for. So I hate debt like a freaking passion. I think people should be free from debt, and so I'm trying to get rid of my debt. I'm in a position where I am right now with 100% commissions. It's been a little bit crazy because I don't have money that I can consistently rely on. And the thing right now that I'm trying to figure out is how much I owe in taxes for 2015. Because I have money kind of saved aside for taxes, and I need to pay my taxes and then see how much I can put towards my debt. I have 2 primary pieces of debt right now, just for total transparency. The first one is a loan that I got to pay for my business coaching stuff. It was about $17,000 that I have on that loan that I'm paying off. And my other debt is my car. I think I have about $6,000 or $7,000 remaining on the balance of that. And so I want to get totally clear and free of those 2 things so that I can just feel free and then create something. And it'd be awesome to pay off my house or whatever I get this year, an apartment, or not even take on any of that and just pay rent. I would almost just rather pay rent so that I don't have debt owed. If that makes sense. So I want to be completely financially independent. Another goal. I feel legit to have purchased my first rental investment. That's something I want to do this year, is even if it's a small investment, like a $15,000 to $20,000 trailer that I can rent out, I want to do that and buy it just so that I can get into the investment game. And this is the only type of debt that I really feel comfortable about. debt that I'm getting that's going to help me make more money. As long as like the monthly payment on the debt is less than the monthly payment I'm getting for the rent. And then I wrote, it feels amazing to have empowered so many entrepreneurs through my 40 plus episodes of Millionaire Case Study. That's what this is. This is Millionaire Case Study. And this is episode 2, I believe, and I want to bust out as many episodes, 40 episodes this year, just to get it rolling. And my last goal for the year, it's been super cool to continually get asked on podcasts, and I have been interviewed 100 plus times. So that's what I want to do to get out there, is to get interviewed many, many more times. Now, so these are my goals for the year. After I wrote these down, I decided to do something that is interesting, that I think it could go one of two ways. I'm either going to be empowered, or it could potentially make me feel disappointed, I guess. But what I decided to do is, instead of focusing on these for the whole year, I'm going to take this list and try to have them accomplished by July. So 6 months instead of a year. Now, my purpose of doing that is to freaking just get into action and doing stuff towards it. I may not hit them. I may not hit all of them. I know I'm going to at least hit some of them. I'm pretty confident I can hit some by July. But I believe if I focus on hitting them in July, then I'm going to have so freaking much progress on each of them that I can just know that I'm going to hit it by the end of the year. So I have now shrunk my year plan down to a 6-month plan. So we'll see how that goes. So those are my goals. That was a big thing I did this week. I also was interviewed on a podcast this week. I talked about sales because I've known sales for 5-6 years, and I told my story about sales. That was super awesome. And another thing I'm working on right now is a tentative launch for a Periscope course. I already have a course, but I'm working with a friend of mine that lives here in Southern California, and we're going to try to do a launch together. And I'm doing the launch based on this book, .com Secrets by Russell Brunson. Great guy. I actually got to meet him at the Ignite event that I went to about a week and a half ago. So, yeah, so I like the way he teaches, and things are starting to come together. I've only read about 25% of that book. I'm planning to finish it this week and start to outline how we're going to launch this course. Now, I already mentioned the Toastmasters thing, so I'm doing more of that. And then for the rest of this week, I have a couple more strategy calls. Like, they're the second call of people that I'm hoping to get on my social media management. And this weekend, I'm doing my skydiving for the very first time. So I'll be able to tick that off as accomplishing that. Super excited for it. That's the main thing. Right now I'm also still trying to stay caught up with my solar stuff. I'm calling my leads every day, the ones that need to be called, to get information from them or just to keep them in the loop. I used to email them, but I found calling them gives a bit more personal touch. And I'm still going out every afternoon and prospecting for solar. And it's actually been slow the last couple of days. So I'll end on kind of the emotional space that I'm in. It's weird. I'm in a much better space than I have been over the last year, I'd say. I've been in some really crazy situations and emotionally trying to figure this out. But I have seen things now that make me feel very hopeful and positive. Like having things happen, like getting on Entrepreneur. Seeing people reach out to me. That's something that's started to happen more, is I'm having more and more people reach out to me on Facebook and say, hey, can I pick your brain on something? And I've set up several calls with people that wanted to just talk to me about how I either got on Entrepreneur or how they can be successful on Periscope or something else with social media. Just talking to me, and so that's kind of cool. So I'm seeing these I guess hints or clues that things can be good. I'll be honest with you, where I'm at with my social media game and everything, I still haven't made anything really with anything I've done at this point. But I want to, and that's why I just want to keep going. I kind of feel like that I'm building up this snowball that I hope will just become so freaking big. So there's that positive side. On the more of the negative side, like yesterday, it's been slow with my solar stuff, meaning I'm still working my face off, but it's 100% commission. And I've been going the last couple of days with getting 0 leads. And when you go all afternoon until evening and you don't get anything, it's like, frick. And I know you gotta just keep going anyway, because that's kind of the game of sales. You gotta focus on what you can control and feel good about that. But I have allowed, I guess, thoughts to enter my head like, holy frick, what if this doesn't work out? What if I'm just working my butt off? Am I getting in head over am I getting in way too much over my head? Am I committing to too much? Am I splitting myself too thin? Am I working too hard? Which I don't feel like I'm working too hard. But I'm wondering if I have my attention in too many different places. I know getting up earlier would help, and just working on what I want to work on before anybody else gets up, that'll help. But I also wonder, with me moving this year to a smaller town, am I doing that too early? And cutting off my solar income, because that's what's kept me afloat, is I'm cutting that off when I move. I don't know. What if it just doesn't work out? It's real. It's freaking real. But I don't know. I'm willing to do it because I want that life so freaking bad. So that's it for this episode. I hope you got some value of it with what I've been up to, and thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on the next Millionaire Case Study episode. See you there.